Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Britton's Hangout Hour, episode 138. And today we have a returning guest in Dr. Philip Chase. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, Britton. Thank you for inviting me back here. It is a pleasure to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, same. It's always fun chatting with you. It's we had a lot of adventures since last time we were here.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
read you put out some books. I read those books. We ended up
yeah.
talking about them. You put out another book, which I haven't read yet, but I'm hoping to read it at some point in the near future.
Well, I appreciate that you've read the Edan trilogy, and we had some nice chats about each of the three books there. And
Yeah, I always
yeah,
feel weird
great.
about like reviewing books from people I know, and I'm like, I think a nice workaround is like talk to them and like ask them about their process and what they were going
Yeah,
for.
oh yeah, I've done that all the time. I've talked to friends who have published books, and I enjoy talking about books more than I do just straight up reviewing books anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can talk to the author and get a sense of what they were going for and maybe some of their influences, and the downside to that is if it's just a more general discussion, you can't get into the spoiler parts. But if you're talking about the whole thing and you're doing spoilers, then you can go to town, and it's just, I think, a much more meaningful conversation. But that limits the number of people who can watch the conversation if you're doing spoilers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure, for sure. It's funny you mentioned that. I'm actually reading, or I started, I should say, your favorite fantasy series of all time. At least as of the recording of this, anyway.
The Malazan Book of the Fallen.
Yeah, I started Gardens of the Moon this month,
Sweet, sweet.
and
What are you thinking so far?
it's an interesting experience. I'm a little frustrated with some parts of it, but a lot of people are like, "That's not new, Britain. Get out of here. You're not special." But no, it's definitely an experience, and I'm trying to jump in as blindly as possible. I didn't want to, with some exceptions. I did watch Kronk's video where he tried to introduce what the whole thing is about, so just to get like some like context, so I'm not just completely like what's going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like Kronk's videos. He makes some really good videos. I like
Yeah,
it.
without spoiling it, of course.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was tempted to watch you and AP's first chat about Gardens of the Moon, but I'm like, I held off. I'm like, I'm gonna wait till I finish it, and then I'll go and watch it to see what they say about it.
Yeah. The way AP and I did it was, except for Gardens of the Moon, because both discussions are on my channel, because he didn't have a channel yet. But after Gardens of the Moon, the non-spoiler discussion is on my channel, and then the spoiler discussion is on A Critical Dragon, and that's true for every book, 1 through 9. We never did our Crippled God discussion, but
Oh.
1 through 9, Gardens of the Moon, both non-spoiler and spoiler are on my channel, and then you'll find the rest where it's non-spoiler on my channel, and then the spoiler discussions are on AP's channel with some. Occasionally, we do sit down with Steven Erickson a few times during the course of all
Yeah, I've
the.
seen that. I watched a couple of discussions with Steven Erickson before I stepped in. Not
Mhm.
necessarily about the books in general, because I was being wary of spoilers. But though
Yeah.
I've heard some people say you can't really spoil Malazan Book of the Fallen. So I don't know.
I
But
mean, there are certain character deaths or whatever. If you don't want to know that stuff, I actually think that for me, and I'm not telling anyone how to read or how to worry or not worry about spoilers, but for me, I actually find that a lot of time when I hear what something might upset other people as a spoiler, I'm like, okay, fine, that doesn't ruin the reading experience for me, really. I understand when people get mad if somebody like deliberately spoils, like somebody yells in the movie theater that a certain character dies or something. Then
it's
I
like,
can understand.
hey, Boromir dies at the end of the movie, and then you just walk out.
Yeah, that would be horrible. But I do think that we worry a little too much maybe about spoilers, and that
Yeah,
if you think that, oh, now this is ruined for me and I won't get anything out of this book because I know this
I mean,
happens.
I can kind of see it. I mean, I sometimes get a little irritated. It kind of takes away from the immersion sometimes if I get spoiled on
Maybe,
something. But that's
maybe.
just me. But I know there are people out there who don't really care about that thing. So
I try to be respectful anyway,
Mhm.
because I realize that some people are very sensitive about it, and so I will obviously wave my arms around and say we're doing spoilers, or I'll put little, in the past when I was fairly new to this and didn't realize just how sensitive some people are, I might have even mentioned things that some people might consider a spoiler, and now I've put little like. I have pinned a comment saying, "Hey, if you there's a spoiler at this, put a
I
mark in
see.
there."
Also, funnily enough, I bring up Gardens of the Moon. I see you have a very nice copy of Gardens of the Moon sitting behind you on the.
Yeah, the broken binding
Oh
special
yeah,
edition. Yeah,
mine. I call this the airport copy because it's really small.
I have that too. I can't read those anymore. The print's too small. The font is too small for me. So I had to get something else. And the broken binding was doing. Obviously, they're in the midst of doing the Malazan Book of the Fallen, and I was like, yeah, I don't buy a lot of special editions. In fact, the only special editions I bought are the Malazan Book of the Fallen so far. And I've had other people buy me. You can see up there. There's a Robin Hobb, at least the bottom
Yeah.
half of it. There's my own book. I don't have a lot of special editions, but I thought, you know what, this is my favorite series of all time. I'd like to have an edition that I can actually read when I do a reread, because the font on those mass market paperbacks is just it's not even readable anymore for me. So I'm happy that I indulged a little bit and got these broken binding ones, because they are really gorgeous too.
Yeah, I did see they had a bigger copy at my local Barnes and Noble. I just didn't get it because I just got it off of Amazon. So
They're not easy to find, by the way. If you
no.
actually found a trade paperback of Gardens of the Moon, that they're not always easy to find. So
No, but yeah, no, I'm reading it right now, and it's been an interesting experience. It's I know interesting is kind of a frustrating word for a lot of people. It kind of, I always think of the movie Captain Fantastic, where they say it's the family is like these like weird, like hippie, maybe not weird, eccentric. I'll say eccentric.
it's
These
with
like
Viggo
yeah,
Mortensen,
Viggo
right?
Mortensen. He's the dad, and they play like these like eccentric, hippie kind of people who live off the grid.
Yeah.
And yeah, they say like interesting is a non-word. That's why I always think of that when I say that. But
It's a word you use when you don't want to be too committed yet.
yeah, that's good. It's good. It's good. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's definitely not like other fantasy for sure.
Oh no, it isn't. That is definitely something that distinguishes it. It is uh, where most fantasy writers would go right. Erickson is going to go left sometimes, and he does invert a lot of tropes quite deliberately. But also, I think some of it is just that he does things that are common in literature, but not necessarily common in fantasy. So if you're an avid fantasy reader, and you have certain expectations for a
Mm-hmm.
narrative, like, okay, where is the protagonist, where is the group of people that we follow along with and root for? Malazan's not going to give you that. It's going to give you a much more universal picture of all these characters, and you're not going to necessarily have one group of people
Well, there's
that
not
you're
really a group of people. There's like dozens of people
lots of
across.
different people all over
Yeah.
the place, and that's kind of part of the point, is that a lot of them feel foreign to each other, or even enemies, and you'll see in the chorus of I don't think it's a spoiler to say, because everybody in the whole world, if they've heard anything about Malazan, has heard that it explores compassion
Yeah,
and
I've heard
connection.
this.
Yep, you must have heard that.
Heard it a dozen
But
times.
but
I was actually talking with someone the other day on
uh-huh,
this site I use called Quora, who apparently is a friend of Erickson and his friend Ian Esselmont.
uh-huh.
And I was just like, I started Gardens of the Moon, and I'm not entirely sure what to make of it. And he did the whole spiel where he's like, well, he does things that not a lot of other fantasy does. Compassion, big thing. And I'm like, okay. I don't really see that yet in Gardens of the Moon, but Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
as good of a reader as I think I am. That's
no,
always a
it's
good
not
case.
that, Britton. It's not that. It's just a lot of times this is a series where
There are 9 other books though, so
exactly, and
maybe you can cut me some slack, Malazan
when you
fans.
get to the end of book 10, then you can go back and remember some moments from Gardens of the Moon, and it may recontextualize some of it for you, which is actually, I think, a cool experience when you get to the end of a series and it recontextualizes some of the stuff you read earlier and you see it in a new light, and maybe it deepens it, maybe it makes it speak to you in interesting ways. So, man, that might happen. Yeah, I would say just in as much as you can, enjoy the experience while you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because it's like I'm not like hating it or anything. Like
Uh-huh.
it's it's a lot, it's different. I'm not
Yeah.
that's apparent. But like I mean, like I've just had a hard time with it. I'll just put it that way, which I know isn't
Right.
new because I've seen a lot of people I've known, who love it and hate it, who have struggled with it for
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah, if you're reading for the sole purpose of relaxing and escaping and just kind of entertainment, I
And
could see where it would get like a little. Why do I have to work to understand this? Can I just
I
relax
knew
a
this
little?
wouldn't be like an easy read for. I don't think it's like. Now I should note, I'm not like flexing here for anyone, but like I didn't think it's like that hard to follow.
I know. I agree with you.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see where some people come from when they say it's difficult. There are a lot of characters, and like, hold on a minute, who's this guy again? What's
Yeah.
going on here?
Yeah.
There's like quadruple crossing already in this book.
Yeah. So Malazan has wide scope. It has vastness, but it also has depth, and I think that you'll increasingly feel that depth as if you progress in the series. But the right away, the scope is obvious. It's
Yeah.
just whoa, okay, you get thrown into this world, and it's kind of like baptism by fire. Boom, And
It's like Warrens. What are that? What are those?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of something Marlon James said. I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, in a fantasy, the world must feel real to the characters, or normal for that matter. I find that Steven Erikson kind of plays with that point because, like, he doesn't, go out of his way to explain what's going on. He's like, this is, and he gives you context clues,
Right.
or if you're familiar with fantasy already, you'll probably recognize some things like, if you're familiar with like, Fae related stuff, then you'll probably kind of grasp what Warrens are.
Well, I don't.
That's kind of the vibe I got from Warrens. I could be mistaken.
That's great. I think that's awesome. But I
because
don't
it's
think
like
anyone.
it's the realm where people get magic from.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
that's where my mind went.
That's a very cool and very appropriate association, I would say. And at the same
Not
time,
saying
though,
it's like a dead-on ringer, though. I'm trying not to. I don't want to imply
no.
that.
But at the same time, I would say that no one understands Warrens, including Steven Erikson and Ian Esselmont.
That's comforting. You'll be like, so what are they? If I ever have him on my channel, if he would talk to me, and he'd just be like, I don't know. Me and Ian were just making it up. I would just turn this off and walk out.
Honestly, I think your interpretation is great.
No, but yeah, that's kind of vibe I got from it. I don't know.
Yeah, totally appropriate. Totally.
But yeah, reading this, I'm like, you know what? I'm probably gonna step away from epic fantasy for a little bit. Maybe stick with some standalones for a while. But we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I would like to continue with Dead House Gates because I don't want to just I don't want to like. And I mean, I'm not saying I dislike Gardens of the Moon or anything. I do. I can definitely see what Erikson is going for. Like I can see like some threads he's putting through the book. Like I can see how it's all starting to connect. Yeah. But there's some other things like I'm having a hard time with the characters. Though there are some I like. I like Krupp quite a bit.
Oh, good. Yeah. If you like Krupp, that's a good sign.
Yeah. And Whiskey Jack's fun. I like Whiskey Jack. And
Yep.
And I like Quick Ben, and it's not Calor. That's another guy. The other guy starts with it. His name's Karam, I think.
Oh, Column? Kalam?
Oh, Column. Yeah.
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 They're
Adam
fun.
Rake. Have you met Adam Rake yet?
Yeah, I've met him. He's interesting. That's another thing. I'm like, there's some weird. I don't know if it's like because I know Erickson has how do I put this? He has responded to criticism, we'll say.
Uh-huh.
Where he's like, this is what I was going for, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, whatever. But there are
Mm.
parts I'm like, okay, this is pretty nice. I see this kind of dark, foreboding atmosphere here. And then he's
Uh-huh.
like, it's like, here's this like D&D wizard battle. And I'm like, what is going on? Okay.
Huh.
Wasn't expecting that. Though I know it was based on an RPG game, so I guess I shouldn't be too shocked at that.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, they developed the world when they were using GURPS, but I think it's not inaccurate, but it might be a little oversold at that point because a lot of the stories they wrote consequently are not things they gamed. They're just books that they wrote consequently.
Well, sure. And I mean, I don't want to sound like they gamed all this. It's
No,
just
they
kind of
didn't.
there are parts where I'm like, I see that this started out as a D&D game, or
Yeah.
GURPS technically, because
Yeah, they actually, I think at the very beginning it was D&D, but then they moved to GURPS because it gave them more flexibility.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been reading Gardens of the Moon. I've been getting through it without too much hassle, though. Again, there are a lot of characters and a lot of concepts and a lot of ideas, and you're like, it can be a bit overwhelming. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think that's the best word I can use for it right now. Overwhelming.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to be overwhelmed.
It's not like George R. R. Martin, who also has this kind of vast world, but like the story is very like is not hard to follow generally. Like he keeps things simple for the most part.
Right.
Now, yeah, Danny and she's doing her thing over there with the dragons, but like, the story of, A Song of Ice and Fire is very simple. Ned Stark goes to King's Landing, and then all the epic splintering stuff that happens is based on what happens there.
You're not scratching your head when you're reading A Song of Ice and Fire. Maybe your jaws open a few times, like, whoa, that kind of thing, but it's not a head scratching kind of experience, you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, or, speaking of Marlon James, kind of like Black Leopard, Red Wolf, where sometimes you scratch your head because, he also does not, play it safe. But, like, generally you can follow it. Like, the story is very simple. It's just the way it's told is very unique.
Yeah. Well, there are certain authors who kind of make us uncomfortable.
And also Erickson's like, all right, I'm doing this thing, this assassin war. Oh, look, there's a dragon. You're like, what's that? Yeah.
Yeah. But I think our discomfort sometimes can lead to growth as readers.
Perhaps,
that's something that can happen if you get really immersed in the Malazan experience. So anyway, I wish you the best with it.
It's gonna be a slow going because it's a long series. And generally, I like one of the reasons I was hesitant to read Malazan for a long time is because it's these like 10 epic big books. I'm like, I don't really like reading not epics, but I don't like, I don't like. It's not I don't like it. It's I don't prefer to read super long series.
Okay,
with exceptions, of course.
Have you read Realm of the Elderlings yet?
Not yet. No. I know they're trilogies, and you can kind of but no, I've not read them yet. I do want to. Derry has gotten after me to read.
Oh yeah,
that series. Well, speaking of epics, I did start Discworld this year as well.
Oh, cool.
I read Guards, and I had a lot of fun with it. So
hoping to
read Men at Arms before too long.
I haven't progressed in the City Watch series. I did read Guards. More recently, I read Mort, which I really enjoyed, and I want to continue. My next one is going to be. I started the Witch books. So was it Equal Rights? Is that the first one?
I'm not sure.
I think so. And I'm going to go to the next one soon. Let me see if I can find my Pratchett books here. Oh, there they are. So yeah, the next one is Weird Sisters. Yeah.
I haven't gotten to the Witches series yet. Oh, jeez, I don't know why my throat's just dry today.
I think that they're one of the favorites for a lot of people, the witches. But
Yeah, it's either the death
and the
books.
Weatherwax and all that. Yeah.
It's usually the death books I hear the most about, and the City Watch.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. Well, they're all great so far. I haven't gone very far in Discworld either.
I
I've
think
only
what's nice
read.
about Discworld is there's like sub-series within the series, so you
Uh-huh.
can kind of just skip around.
They're also very standalone-ish. You don't. I think you should go more or less in the order and within those different series, but I don't feel like I necessarily have to read the next City Watch book right after I finish the first one. And I think I can wait on that. Go read a Mort book, or you know what I mean. You don't
Yeah,
have to.
it's
A death book.
refreshing, I think.
Yeah. You can go back and forth between the different sub series, and
Then it was one of those where I was like, okay, fine, Derry, he was good. Oh yeah, I really like the characters, and
yeah,
I like how he writes the setting.
yeah.
I do want to like books, but you sometimes get you're sometimes skeptical when when you hear about popular things.
Yeah.
I like my fair share of popular things, but anyway.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah.
You've been busy though. You got a trilogy out now, which we
Mm-hmm.
talked about, so I won't belabor that too much. And then you
Okay.
wrote a standalone sequel to that trilogy,
Yep.
and an audiobook came out.
Yes, Alan from the Library of Allenxandria is actually my narrator, and The Way of Edan has been out since last October, I think. But the Prophet of Edan will be out pretty much any day now. We're just about ready to upload it to Audible, and then Audible takes its sweet time to approve it, and then hopefully it'll be out there. So I think within 2 weeks, we should be having The Prophet of Edan out there as an audiobook. I'm really excited for that because I think Alan is very talented, and he did such a great job, in my opinion, on The Way of Edan. And I think he's probably upped his game for The Prophet of Edan, and he's only going to get better. And I hope people discover how great he is as a narrator, because this is something he could do really beautifully. Like, he could do this for a living. He could be up there with people. Talk about James Marsters, and who's the guy that narrates? I just listened to The First Law.
Stephen Pacey.
Stephen Pacey. These
I was gonna
guys.
say, yeah, you've been up in your audiobook game recently.
I'm still kind of a newbie, but yeah, I've tried audiobooks. I'm gonna do Dungeon Crawler Carl next. Jeff, what's his name? Jeff something.
It's like Jeff Denneman, yeah.
No, that's Matt Dinneman is the author.
Oh,
Jeff somebody is the.
I don't know the
narrator.
author's
I can't
name.
remember.
Sorry,
Anyway,
Dungeon
he's supposed to be
Crawler
one of the
Carl
greats
fans.
as well. I feel like Alan could be in that conversation someday. Like, he is that talented at doing
good.
voices and just animating the story,
Make
giving
me want
it
to
life.
get because I just got a free for a month thing on Audible, so you're tempting me to give a Way of Edan a reread. Listen to it on audio.
I mean, I think Alan's performance is marvelous, and I hope more people discover just how good he is. And I'm not saying that just because I want people to buy the audiobooks of my
It's
books.
like you're giving it an extra push though, because it's
That's great if that happens. But really, I think Alan, I would love to see him be able to do it, like make a career out of this, because I think he could do it. I think he's that good. So
yeah, he's a talented guy. I want to get him on my show. It's just he can be hard to contact, believe it or not.
Oh, I know he. Look, I know he sometimes is a bit elusive, but he gets really busy. He has his.
Yeah, he's joked. I think he joked before that like Evie's his secretary or something like that.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well, he is beloved, but he is a busy guy. I mean, he's a family man.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a baby on the way, like any day now. Baby number 2. And he is a very busy and dedicated teacher, and he does stuff with the students even during the summer months, because he's a Latin teacher, and he brings them.
I thought I saw him posting on Instagram about something he was doing with his students the other day.
Yeah, like nationals or something like that.
Oh yeah, you joined Instagram?
I'm on Instagram now. Yeah,
keeping up with the times I see.
I'm being as hip as I can. Yeah.
But yeah, you've been kind of busy.
Yeah.
Working with
Yeah. I
SPFBO a
mean,
little bit. Did you do it this year or
what's that?
SPFBO?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I was a SPFBO judge. I am still a SPFBO judge. We're doing the Tournament of Champions right now, or
Oh,
we're the last. So SPFBO's been around for 10 years, and if you don't know what SPFBO is, it's the self-published fantasy blog off. That's a contest founded by Mark Lawrence. I'm not saying it for you. I'm saying it for your viewers.
yeah. I mean, I know what it is, but yeah, no.
So Mark Lawrence started this. Mark Lawrence, the author, who is traditionally published, started this contest to shine a light on great self-published fantasy, and just out of the kindness of his heart, really. And he did a great thing, in my opinion. And there's just been a lot of great books that have seen the light, so to speak, because of this contest, including the one I'm about to read, Sword of Kaigen. That was a SPFBO winner.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot about this one.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to dip my toes some more into indie books. You actually commented on that video, but I made a video of like 10 indie fantasy stuff I want to get to.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, and the most recent winner was by Blood by Salt, which you, I think, are intending to read someday.
Yes, I would really like to get to that book at some point.
Yep.
It's,
so that what we're doing now
looks like something I would like.
Oh, I hope so. It's I think it's really, really well written. The prose is a cut above. Really, I mean, and this is not a knock on indie writers.
So I'll say you might get ripped on for saying that. I don't think anyone would rip on you, Dr. Philip Chase, but there might be some out there who get mad.
Great prose is not all that common, not just in indie fantasy, but in traditionally published as well. I mean, there's a lot of traditionally published books that I consider to have mediocre prose. So it's just not indie fantasy.
Sure, yeah.
But anyway, this Tournament of Champions is basically taking the 10 books that have won during the 10 years that this contest has existed, and the judges, which consist mostly of different groups and some other independent judges like me, but basically we're ordering the 10 winners according to our own preference, and the one that gets the most love is going to be the champion of champions, right? So that's the idea.
Yeah. You're also part of the Illuminati thing. The
Secret
Society of BookTubers who
the secret
team
society.
together and read
old men.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Brian's brainchild. Brian Bell, great friend and just a wonderful guy. And he's
he's a good dude.
Oh, he's great. I love Brian, and he has.
Hope he's doing okay. I know his mom died, and he took that really hard.
So he's been dealing.
That sounds really bad. Like, who wouldn't take their mom's death really hard? But yeah, he really was.
Yeah, and he
hope
was
he's doing okay.
His mother. Yeah, he's dealing with his grief. There's no doubt about it. But he's hanging in there. But great guy, and he's been called BookTube's beloved crazy uncle by some people. So
yeah, I've seen that around. I'm like, oh well, yeah, all right.
Yeah. But he started this thing, the Illuminati, which is why I refer to him as the Grand Poobah of the Illuminati. Because it's really his brainchild, but it's John from Talking Story and Mike from Mike's Book Reviews and myself, and we read one book per quarter, so 4 books a year, and get together and talk like it's a book club. And it's been a lot of fun. I like I said, I love the conversations. I love the discussion.
Yeah, you picked the newest one, didn't you? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was Robert E. Howard, as a matter of fact.
That's right. Right. Your boy, Robert E. Howard, Conan.
My main man. I haven't actually read that one yet, and I'm like, oh man.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Yeah.
I've read because I have the 3 Del Rey editions, which is the one I always recommend to people because it's like, that's Howard's work. It's not touched by anybody. That's just what he originally wrote. Anyway, I think the 3rd one has Hour of the Dragon in it. I haven't read all of them yet, but.
Okay. That's his only novel-length Conan story.
Yes, that's what I've heard. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, aside from Tolkien, I hope this isn't a hot take, but I would say aside from Tolkien, he is the most influential fantasy
on the genre.
On the genre, at least modern fantasy as we know it today. I don't know about like of all time. there's probably going to be. I'm sure you have opinions on that as well.
I don't think that's a hot take,
you're more knowledgeable on it than me. You'd probably be like,
I
well, what
actually
about
don't
William
think.
Morris? I'm like, well, I haven't read William Morris. I'm sorry.
Well, William Morris would be influential only through Tolkien, I think. It would be fair to say. Because Tolkien was very influenced by William Morris, no doubt about it. If you ever were to read William Morris's fantasies that he wrote and they weren't called fantasies back then, they were called prose romances. They're very, very influential on Tolkien, and we know that because Tolkien talked about them in his letters. So he had a great deal of respect for William
I
Morris.
saw this book the other day called The Letters of JRR Tolkien, and it was like put together by his son, I think. And
Actually, the version I have of Tolkien's letters is edited mostly by Humphrey Carpenter, with some assistance from Christopher Tolkien. It's right here. And I've actually read this whole thing. I mean, it's very elucidating in terms of Tolkien's philosophy, and people don't write letters anymore. It's a shame. I mean, nobody's going to be able to have a book like this about a lot of modern authors because they're emails and texts.
Yeah, I was about to say, unless you want to like track down their emails.
yeah. But he really did. I mean, he was actually pretty gracious. People would write him out of nowhere, just fans and stuff, and he would respond to a lot of them, by snail mail. We have a lot of, plus they were just, people that he knew, friends and family and stuff. We have letters from all of that too. So we do know a lot about Tolkien's thought behind his work from his letters.
Yeah, it's, he, I mean, I won't pretend to be an expert on Tolkien. I mean, my fandom really goes from The Hobbit to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and not against reading the Silmarillion. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
It's different.
Someday.
It's the mythological backdrop that, for me,
I've heard it's kind of like his Bible a little bit, and like the Bible of Lord of the Rings in a weird way. I've heard it be described that way.
That's not the worst comparison, actually. I mean,
I'm
there
on
is a
fire
creation
today.
story. It has a creation story. It has the kind of the history of Middle Earth.
You know what I would like to read before too long? I'd like to read The Children of Hurin before too long. Have you read that one?
Yes, I have, and there is a shorter version of that in the Silmarillion. So you would know that story from reading the Silmarillion.
Sounded cool. I'm like, oh, he does grimdark? Oh man, I gotta read this.
Yeah, well, he actually based a lot of that. What happens to the main character there, Turin, is the son of Hurin, is based on a Finnish, the Kalevala, part of the Kalevala. There's a hero, Kullervo, I think is the name. Very similar things happen to that character. It's happened to, without any spoilers, happened to Turin. So yeah, there's it's not just grimdark in the modern sense, but it goes back quite a ways.
Well, I know. I'm just using shorthand here.
Yeah.
You also, and also one of your more recent adventures, you've been talking about grimdark with some people, like I think you're on Jordan's channel talking about it, and also Sam's channel.
I Wizard, along with Sam from My Samwise. We were chatting about grimdark was part of the discussion, and morality and fantasy and that kind of thing. So yeah, that was a great chat. Those two are very thoughtful and how they approach their literature. So yeah, that was great talking with them.
Yeah, no, it's but yeah, you've been busy. You've been around.
I stay out of trouble most of the time.
That's good. I even got a theme. You got a theme song to your trilogy. Kind of.
Yes. Yeah, that was.
I don't know if it's for the whole trilogy, but it is a theme song.
It's a theme song for the Edan trilogy, and I love music. And I don't listen to music much when I am just getting the story out. I like ambient noise, like a fan or something, just to erase the world while I'm trying to create one. But I do, in the process of editing, for whatever reason, when I'm editing, I do like to listen to music to put me in the mood for that scene that I'm working on. So if it is, you asked before, right? You asked about music at one point.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So if I'm in the mood for something really epic or a battle sequence, I'll listen to Two Steps from Hell or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
They write very cinematic music, and
Mm-hmm.
but if I need something more meditative, or just beautiful to put me in that kind of mood, I'll listen to Rafe Vaughan Williams' The Lark Ascending or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Or in general, you can't miss with Howard Shore's soundtrack for The
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, and that kind of thing. So
I sometimes listen to the Hobbit, or not the Hobbit, the Shire music.
yes, I know what you mean, that theme. Yeah. So yeah, I love music, and I wanted to have music for my world, for my trilogy, and I, like many other of our friends around here, have gotten to know Nikhil
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Koparkar, whose Shelf Esteem is his BookTube channel. He also has a music-oriented channel, but just a wonderful human being.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah.
He's great and immensely talented. He's a
Mm-hmm.
composer, and not just like a hobby. That's his living. He makes a living
Yeah,
being a
yeah. It was it was
composer.
it was fun talking to him because I got to ask him all the
Yeah.
questions about like how do you do what you do? Do you just like make it in your house, or do you have a little orchestra? And
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, he's professional.
he was
Yeah.
very he's very accommodating. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, he's a really nice person. Yeah. In addition to being talented, which is a rare combination when you do somebody who's talented and nice,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, he is both. And so I got to thinking, hey, here's an opportunity. And I've never been shy about just going for it. And I thought, why not? I'll just ask Nikhil, if can I commission you to write me a piece? Because he was in the midst of he was reading Return to Edan when I approached him with this
Mm-hmm.
idea, and he was very receptive to it, very kind. And I also said, can we feature the cello in this very centrally, because my daughter plays the cello. My older daughter is a very talented cellist,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be love to have her play for the piece. So he did that as well, and I had my daughter record what he came up with in a recording studio here in New Jersey, actually at the college where I teach. And that was fun too, by the way. Having my colleague, a professor who teaches music recording, had his class basically record my daughter, which
Oh,
was
that's
really
cool.
that was a great experience. And yeah, Nikhil used that, and the theme song and "Blessed Be the Eternal" is the result, and I just could not be happier with it. It's just
You also
I think it's
you also got a
wonderful.
broken binding edition of Way of Edam, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Are we gonna get the
there's
other two books or?
there it is. Yes, actually. So here's the Way of Edan right here, the Broken Binding edition, and I can report that the art for book two, The Prophet of Edan, is very soon going to be underway. As Renee Agner, the artist who did the dust jacket
Mm-hmm.
and the color interior art, not the black and white. That's a different artist named Peng Lu,
Mm-hmm.
but he did the color art inside and the dust jacket. He's going to be starting on the art for the Prophet of Edan relatively soon, I believe. Is what I was. The last conversation I had with Patrick Leo, who's the
Mm-hmm.
art director for the Broken Binding, also a great guy,
Mm-hmm.
beloved, a member of our community here. He Patrick indicated that Renee would be starting on the art for the Prophet of Edan. Actually we're recording on the last day of July here.
Yeah,
So
it's
in
Harry Potter's
August,
birthday, as a matter of fact.
is that what this is? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, happy birthday, Harry. Yeah, okay,
Hope you're doing well.
yeah.
Yeah. I like Harry Potter, so I don't hate all popular things. Just a lot
I've
of
I've
them.
had a fun time reading Harry Potter with my daughters.
Yeah,
That's a
it was kind of
great.
fun talking with AP about Harry Potter because he's like super analytical and he's
Yeah.
like, look, it works for what it's doing, but then he's kind of like, oh lord, hope he doesn't watch this and see my kind of like fumbling around talking about Malazan. I don't want him ripping on me in the comment section.
Oh, no. Well, he's a very kind-hearted
Yeah, he's a good
dragon.
guy. He's a good guy. Yeah, he's a good
So
guy.
you shouldn't worry too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I can just see it now. It just leaves a paragraph. He's like, well, here's what's actually going on, and there you go. And I'm just like, oh, I missed all that. I
No,
feel
no, he wouldn't do that.
silly. No, I'm kidding. Shout out to AP, by the way. I heard he's recently also made his kind of returned to
He put out a
BookTuber.
video.
Yeah,
Yeah, he put out
somewhat.
a really interesting video from an author perspective, especially, but also from a reader perspective, just looking at a slightly more, I think, purposeful way to look at various elements within your story by kind of using a spreadsheet and looking at. I thought it was a really cool video. It's not something I think I could ever do as a writer. I don't do spreadsheets and stuff like that. I just sort of feel things more intuitively, I guess. But it was cool to watch and think about. So yeah.
Yeah, that man has a mind. I'll say that.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Yeah. Actually, to tell you the truth, I think he is among all the different channels I've ever interacted with on this platform. In my mind, AP is the most brilliant analyst that I.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel dwarfed.
Well, yeah, we all do.
Where I'm just like, oh man, like I should just stop doing this. I was like, well, the themes are. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Don't stop.
I'm not gonna stop. But like, there's sometimes I'm like, oh man, like I read his analysis he did on Sandman issue 19, Midsummer's Night's Dream, which is one of my favorite like comic book issues of all time. Anyway,
yes. He wrote a master's. To be fair.
And he put it on his website because apparently like ran a website before he started this YouTube thing.
Yeah, he has a website. If people don't know,
it is insane the level of stuff he pulled out from it. I'm just like, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's like, oh man.
No, I mean, people like AP spend their lives, they dedicate their lives to literary analysis.
I'm impressed. I'll just say that.
To begin with, he's also very, very, very intelligent, and that helps as well. But it's also just practice. Anyone who spends that amount of time learning how to do something is going to be good at it. So yeah, he's one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, when he talked about it, I'm like, oh, I gotta find that if it's out somewhere. And luckily, he very nicely put it on his website, and I just read it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is, it's really good.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you've read that far into the Sandman, because I know you and him were talking about the Sandman for a while.
We actually covered it. We did. AP and I and Varsha did cover that part. Yeah. Unfortunately, we did sort of feel not quite comfortable continuing with our Sandman discussion when all the stuff was coming out.
Yeah.
Neil Gaiman and some of the themes it's just like really head on relevant to what was happening with Neil Gaiman in the real world. And it was like, gosh, this is kind of uncomfortable.
I've been taking a break from covering his stuff for a while for that reason. I won't go into that.
I'm not ditching. I still have my Neil Gaiman books. I'm not throwing them in the garbage.
Not throwing out the what's the old saying? You're not throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
I guess. I mean, that's a tough one, isn't it, Britton? How do we feel about? Look, if I were to pull all the books off my shelf by authors who've done scumbag things, I would be having a lot of gaps probably on my shelves.
Or allegedly have done scumbag things.
Scumbag things. So there would definitely be gaps on my shelves. So I don't know if that's the right.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
I'm not wise enough to know if that.
I'm sure some of these books I have back here have some people who said something mean once, but I'm not. Yeah. I don't want to crawl through.
But at the same time, on the other hand, if I know that now about an author and I have the choice to read their next book or the next book of an author who's also brilliant but hasn't done something like that, then for me it's a no-brainer. I'm going to read the author who's brilliant but hasn't.
I get that. I don't know. I mean, I made a video talking about that whole situation, so again, I won't rehash what I already said.
Yeah.
But it's 2025 has been a year of ups and downs. I'll put it that way. Been a lot of great emotions, we'll say, both good and bad.
Just you mean like in the broader world?
Yeah. Also, just in my personal life. It's just been a lot of like, and then there's parts I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, that's life, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's like, can we have nice things sometimes? Can we?
Yeah.
Please? Oh
Yep.
my god. Anyway. But yeah, no, it's yeah. I won't touch on that too much. But yeah, so but yeah, I did start.
Don't touch on it, but I do want to wish you the best,
Thank you.
at the same time.
Yeah, it's weird, you feel very deeply when it comes to art, I've noticed. And that's something I take very seriously,
Yep.
So I can't just let go as some people can seem to do so easily.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least it seems easy to me.
Yeah, it's upsetting. Whatever solution you settle on, it's not going to be perfect.
No. But yeah. But people who seem non-problematic, Steven Erikson.
Yeah.
So I'll start that and see how that goes. I don't know.
I mean, I've had the pleasure of interacting him not only on YouTube but in real life a little bit in person, and he's just a delightful, very kind human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've read some parts of this book, and I'm like, man, like I thought Canadians were all like friendly, and they like them. They like hockey. He probably doesn't like hockey. I'm sorry.
I don't think he's really a big hockey fan.
No, all right, no, sorry.
Maybe I'm misspeaking. I'm misrepresenting him, but yeah.
No,
I haven't. Let's put it this way: I haven't heard him talk about hockey a ton.
I can see where the archaeology stuff comes from, because there's a lot.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Because there's a lot of discussion of civilizations and whatnot.
Yep, which I love, by the way. That's a favorite thing for me in fantasy, is that the sense of the layers of history.
I will say the world building in this is very good.
Oh yeah. It's the best.
I'm kind of a world building lore nut, so yeah, Gardens of the Moon has not been disappointing in that regard.
Good. Yeah.
So and then I've heard people go like, well, he goes to a whole other continent next book, and I'm just like, well,
get used to that, because it goes back and forth for the first 4 books.
He really goes all the way when they say epic. He just goes to the nth degree with the term epic. He's like, oh yeah?
Yeah.
You think George R. Martin's epic? Suck on that, George.
Well,
I'll show you the meaning of epic.
You've read the Dark Tower series.
I have,
right?
yeah.
So they're very different writers in many respects, but in one respect, I actually like to compare Steven Erikson and Stephen King, and that is in the fact that both writers just go for it.
Yeah, I was about to say that's funny you say that, because I'm like, yeah, he's just going out for it, man.
Yeah, they are swinging for the fences.
He's not playing it safe.
Right. So there is something just grand about the vision that is being displayed on the page by both authors, that you can't accuse them of being shy when they portray stuff, and it's just and both, I think, have an appropriate appreciation for the weird and the bizarre. Yes. So I think that they're very different in other ways, but in that respect,
there are like crows who talk in this. I'm just like, okay, is this a Norse mythology reference? Because I got you.
Yeah.
No. It's been an interesting experience reading Gardens of the Moon, though, because it is so different from a lot of other fantasy that I've read.
Sure. Yeah. That is one thing that is for sure.
They weren't kidding when they said that. I'll say that for the people who've been trying to get me to read Malazan for a while.
Yeah. I'm not sure that anyone would ever be quite capable of reproducing what Erikson and Esselmont have done. As much as I love it, will it change the genre? I don't know. Will there be imitators of Malazan? I'm not sure there can be, even. I mean, I've heard some books described as being like Malazan, but I read them and I'm like, not really. I've never
I've
encountered
read a
anything
couple
quite.
books. Like my friend Chance Dillon recently put out a book called Mercy
I've read
Tears of the
it.
Valen.
I've
I
read it. I
uh,
would not compare it to Malazan myself, but I've heard it compared to Malazan.
I've heard it said it was inspired by Malazan or
Yeah,
Malazan.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
I don't know how true that is because I haven't read Mercy yet, and I mean I'm only getting started on Malazan, so I am not an expert on this stuff. But we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah. No, I would not have compared it to Malazan myself, but it is true that Chance was very much inspired to write by his experience with Malazan, which I think is wonderful. And I think Chance is finding a lot of love for that book, and I'm curious. I want to see where he goes with it. The comparison is coming from a place of Chance does introduce a lot in the very, like, he hits you smack in the face right from the get go when it comes to the world building. So
Mm.
if you're down for that kind of thing, then you might
I
really
love
love.
world building. I love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
So there's, it's almost dizzying when you read Tears of the Fallen. You're like, what? Wait, what? It's
That's
kind of
a
like,
that's a good word too. Dizzying. That's a good word for this book.
dizzying. Yeah, yeah. So there's a similarity there, I would say. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would go for that comparison. Yeah,
It's
but you ought to be careful if people compare you to Malazan. I mean, or to any really just true genius of a writer. I wouldn't want to be compared to Steven Erikson myself because I'd probably come up short. It's dangerous. It's something that Ian Esselman, as the co-creator of the Malazan, was constantly compared to Steven Erikson. And I chatted about this with him once, and he's like, "Yeah, who wants to be compared constantly to a genius? Even though Esselman, in my opinion, is a great writer, but if you're held up next to Steven Erikson all the time, then yeah, that's going to be a tough spot to be in."
yeah, but like I said, I don't think it's that hard to follow in terms of like what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. Like, okay, sometimes there's people like double crossing and it's like triple crossing that can get kind of confusing because oh my
Sure.
lord, people are betraying each other all over this book, or at least planning on betraying each other.
Yeah, the machinations are there. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, it's also kind of funny. Like, there's one guy who's called the High Fist, and that's like a rank. I'm just like, I can't
Yes.
help but think this is like a kung fu movie. Like, he'll just
Uh-huh.
like he'll start have like shining fists and just start fighting everybody.
Yeah, it's
Iron
more like
Fist
just calling
style.
him like a general.
I know, but it's just kind of like, oh man, High Fist. That's an interesting term for that.
Uh
Okay,
huh. Yeah. Yeah.
and then there's also like Sorry. I'm like, well, she's a little creepy, running around.
Yeah. Yeah. Pay attention to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Have you read Glenn Cook's The Black Company yet?
I have not. I've seen that at one of my because Tor just put out a recent like copy of the I've wanted to. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. It seems like something I would like. Seems a little more not low stakes, but more pulpy, I guess.
Maybe.
And I
But it
kind of
is.
like that sort of not just like Conan, but that kind of like sword and
Uh-huh.
sorcery type of thing.
Yeah. No, I see the connection you're making there. But just so you know, it is a big influence on Malazan,
Yeah,
especially in
on
terms
the
of
tour book. Steven Erikson wrote the foreword.
Yep. Good. So you saw that there, and the just in terms of how the Malazan troops especially interacted with each other, there's a similarity there, and of course, a lot of that comes from Glenn Cook being a Vietnam War veteran
Hmm.
and replicating the kind of rapport that actually existed among the soldiers during the war. So that is something that I think is really cool. And if you like that kind of thing, you would probably enjoy the Black Company as well. Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah, it sounds like something I'd like because I do like the soldier parts of Gardens of the Moon, even though a lot of it is just them kind of sitting around and talking about what
Yeah.
they're gonna do,
Yep.
which
Yep.
that's fine. I'll put it this way: like, I don't think like the characters are bad. Or anything. I mean, it's very impressive how I think Erickson makes them all feel distinct from each other.
Uh
So like
huh.
no one like sounds, which is impressive because there's a bunch of different people running around.
Yeah.
Um They all sound succinct, but I haven't or distinct, sorry. But like I haven't really like attached myself to them yet. I'm not like, you know, it's not like Day Raven and the Funky Bunch where I'm like, oh man, what are they gonna do next? You know?
Right. You know who to root for there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it gets very morally ambiguous in Malazan, so I guess that's later on down the line.
I don't know if that's the right way to put it, actually. So you're not given,
or at least I've been told everyone thinks they're the good guy on some level in that series.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. There's just moral complexity, I would say, in the sense that no one is just pure good, is going to save the world from villainy and all of that. And there's complexity in that you will find moments when you understand characters that you thought were just horrible and evil, and suddenly you realize, no, there's some humanity there, and maybe even some sense in which you can understand where they're coming from. You know
what else it reminds me of? You know, that not a lot of people talk about. Reminds me of like old like epics. You know, like the Iliad. And
absolutely, in terms of the gods,
because like gods will just come out and just be like, hey, I'm gonna mess with you because I don't like you.
I would say both Greek mythology in terms of like the Iliad and the Odyssey and how the gods mess with people, but also Hindu mythology as well.
Interesting.
And
I'm not at all familiar with, or very small familiarity with Hindu. I just know about
Norse mythology too. The gods mess with people, you know.
I definitely got Norse vibes from like how god awful the afterlife seems to be, and also the gods are like, we'll just bring this guy back to life. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things you'll hear people criticize in Malazan is a lot of times when a character dies, they come back. But what I would say to that is they don't come back the same. They're not the same person. In fact, there's often quite a bit of additional layers to that person. That trauma has an impact, and sometimes they're really not the same person at all, in the sense that there may be even more than one soul occupying that body that person is in. So it's not just a simple matter of, pop, they're back and they're exactly what they were when they left. No, it's really more complicated than that, I think.
Yeah, I've been told, I've heard that in other places. Again, I mean, you know what? Actually, I won't say who it is because
spoilers.
There might be some people who'll get mad at me for that. But there's the one scene where that guy is like in either he's in like purgatory or he's getting like dragged up to the afterlife or something like that. And then these like creepy twins show up and they're like, oh, we should.
Opon.
Yeah. He's like, we should bring this guy back to life for the lulz. And he's like, I kind of don't want to do that. It's like, it was funny. There's one part where they keep talking about a coin spinning.
Yes.
And I was talking with a friend of mine. And he's like, Opon, he's the like god of luck. I'm just like, damn it, a coin, luck. How did I not put that together? Damn it.
Yep. But those gods
and my friend's just like, see, it's genius. I'm just like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I see.
Well, the more things will just enjoy that experience, though, of having things click into place and deepen your appreciation for the story.
It also, this book has also made me think of like what kind of reader I am, because I'm just like, I kind of like that structure, I like books that challenge me for sure, but I like I don't know, how do I describe it? Not that I like everything explained to me, neatly or anything, but I like I like there to be clarity. There's not as much clarity here.
Yeah, and there's a range. You'll have authors within fantasy and who do a lot of that hand holding and will tell you exactly what a scene means, even right after the scene has just happened. They'll sort of sum it up for you. So just in case you missed it, here's what happened here, And Erikson does not do that. He's on the other end of that spectrum where he's you could say that he respects the reader enough to put it together, or one way to look at it is that's part of the exercise, is you figuring it out, you putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be immensely satisfying. You may feel like I didn't catch that. Oh, I'm a dummy. But I think that's the wrong way to do it.
But at the same time, there are stories that I've read where like you kind of have to flow with it, if you will.
Yep.
And sometimes it works for me, and sometimes it don't. That's great English, but
it works.
No,
it works.
But yeah, this book's made me think about what kind of reader I am, and it's only one book.
That's a good thing. I think that's a good thing.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just kind of like, man, it's only one book of this. What are the other 9 going to be like?
Well, you might find yourself getting better at reading it. So who knows?
I mean, I haven't I'm going to finish it. I'll put it that way. I'm going to finish it. It hasn't alienated me or anything. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been talking with a couple of my Malazan fan friends about this.
Good.
I've had a couple Sherpas. That's what the Mintons like to say.
Yes. Yeah, we all need our friends to help us get by.
Yeah, it's I also read their book this year, Discovery.
Oh, I love Discovery. Yeah,
that was a good book.
Favorite reads of the year, really. I think they really hit it out of the park. And that's a book where I can see they put in the hard miles there. They've done the work. They have really crafted
written a book, and let me tell you, I've done it by myself. It is not easy. Having 2 other people with you?
Yeah.
Oh, God, forget about it.
Well, it's not just 2 other people either. They've had editors they've worked with. They've had people like Jenny Wirtz read their book and gave them feedback and told them, these are things you can improve on. And so they've really done it right, and it shows. In my opinion, this is one of the best written indie books I've ever come across.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Prose is very assured, I thought.
It's very mature. It feels like a mature writer wrote this. And
it was weird because the first part of the book where they're discovering it, and it's basically just people sitting in a room trying to figure out what these tapes are. I thought that was brilliant. I was like, oh my God, this is greatest thing ever. Yeah. But the rest of the book never quite captured that again. I really liked the rest of the book, but it never captured that for me again. So that was kind of, I already talked with him about it and kind of discussed stuff, but it was.
I think they were laying a lot of groundwork for the series. You have to realize, of course, it's a first book in a series, and they're introducing us to the players in the series that we need to know. So
I can't say I've read anything quite like Discovery, though. So
yeah, I'm curious to see where they go with this, really, because I really enjoyed getting to know these characters. There's a lot of eccentric, fun characters in this cast, and I think the I don't know. We can't swear on your channel, can we, Britton? I mean,
no, you can. I just I try to
hit the fan here in BookTube in a big way. I think so.
No, you can. I just I try to meet my. You don't seem like much of a swearer, Philip.
I'm not really either. So,
though there is some swearing in the Edan books.
Yes.
But,
yeah. Well, because people swear. Not all my characters swear, but some of them do. So I try to be consistent with that. If I have Abin the Bard, Abin the Bard, he has a potty mouth. But there are some characters that you won't hear swear at all. So.
That's another thing I like about Gardens of the Moon. I like not the swearing, but they say by hood instead of by God.
Yes, well, or they'll say hood's balls or something.
Hood, yeah. Which kind of reminded me of Bezleg by China Mieville, because a lot of their god is called Jabber. So they'll say by Jabber or Jabber shit and spit or stuff like that. And I don't know why. I'm just weird that I love that. It's one of those weird little fantasy things I just love,
And you picked up the hood as the god of death. Probably.
Yeah. Or at least, he's kind of like the Grim Reaper kind of. Yeah.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, I might have cheated a little and looked that up on the Malazan wiki. I'm like, okay,
Oh, stay away from the Malazan wiki. Yeah, yeah.
I only just read like the top part, and I'm like, okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Because I thought at first Hood was like hell, you know. But then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, he's the god of death. Okay, that makes sense. But so I was kind of on the right track there.
Yeah, that's a dangerous. I love the Malazan wiki, but I've read everything Malazan, so I feel like I'm not. It is a minefield of spoilers. Though.
Yeah, no, I've treaded very lightly.
If you're worried about spoilers, but if you're not, then go for it.
Yeah, I've treaded lightly. I've only kind of looked around on. Yeah. But oh man, yeah, I've also learned what ascendants are, even though Kronk's video kind of describes what they are.
Yeah. So you know, in the Malazan world.
So I know the setup. That's the thing. I just wanted to know the setup because I didn't want to go in completely blind, but I wanted to go as blind enough to where I can like kind of. I didn't want to listen to too much commentary about it before. I wanted to make my own opinions about it before
Sure. Yeah.
I watch like you and AP chat about it and whatnot.
Cool.
Which hey, I'll still do that. By the way, I'm still gonna do it. I'm just gonna finish it first before I do any of that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So I hope you're not offended.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's it's been interesting. But yeah, I like that weird like fantasy swearing stuff for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, why is it that some authors seem good at that and others not as good? I like Brandon Sanderson, but he's one thing that people pick on is that his fantasy swearing seems awfully Disney. You know, it doesn't feel as convincing. Like storms or whatever. You know, it just for whatever reason. Why do you think that is? Like, is there an art to made up swearing? Or?
That's funny you say that. That reminds me of something your arch enemy once said. He's told me because we talked about this briefly when I had him on this show, and he's like, well, you know, there's some people who like understand like how swearing works and why people swear and like what swearing is. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's interesting. Okay. I'm like, and I was just thinking like, this man, how is he possible? He reminds me of Raph a little bit because like Raph just thinks about things that I just don't even consider, you know.
Oh, Raph is a thinker for sure.
Yeah. Same thing with AP. AP will just throw out just the like most mind-bending thing, and I'm like, I never would have ever considered this, but you know, here's AP considering it.
Yep. Well, that's why he's a critical dragon.
Gets the fireballs thrown at him.
That's where the fireballs come from.
Yeah. But no, it's just, you know, so that's funny you asked that because it made me think of that. Paraphrasing, by the way. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Yeah.
I have to look back on that conversation again.
Yeah, but I think it should feel organic in the sense that within the world, within our world, you'll come across people who swear a lot, and then some who don't swear very much. Myself,
you know what? I think he actually made a whole video about fantasy swearing. As a matter of fact,
did AP do that?
Yeah,
oh, okay. I remember that one. But okay.
Or he said somewhere, he's like, well, you know, it depends on what the swearing's about. Like, if there was a world where like God or whatever is not like a thing, like you won't hear people say "God damn" or "damn you." Or, you know, stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you don't think about that because, you know, you just hear it everywhere. Or not everywhere, but you just
so
you hear it commonly enough where you don't really think about it, you know?
Within our world, there are people who swear a lot, and then there are some who don't. And I feel like that should be reflected in a made-up world, too, right? Like, you'll have characters who do swear. So like I said before, I have characters like Edan who swear a lot, and then all others who just never do. Or if they swear, they have, you know, they're more the type who will make up something silly, you know, and like maybe Galdor the wizard or something.
I'll say like Dayraven doesn't swear too much. He's
not very often. He will swear occasionally, though. Yeah,
he's a good lad, as they say in the books.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of Edan. because you put out the standalone, I guess, the standalone
Yeah.
sequel this year.
Well,
So like,
Darkness Gathers. Yeah.
what's the pitch for that book? I know I did read a little bit on your Goodreads. Your what do they call those? Like blurbs? Not really blurbs, but like
Yeah.
the little synopsis.
Well, I can't read the back because it would be spoilery for anyone who has not read the Edan trilogy. But it's basically a sequel. It's a standalone, but you could read it without
So
having
are
read
there
the
new
trilogy.
dark forces abound?
Well, yeah.
Is that
I
why
mean,
darkness is gathering?
well, I can explain the title actually
Oh,
without
okay.
spoiling anything. So
Okay.
the idea for the title came from an old English story that was told in the Venerable Beta's Ecclesiastical History of the English People, which may sound a little boring to people.
That's a very long title.
Yeah. So Beta was a Dark Age monk who was an Anglo-Saxon, and he compiled a kind of history of his times and focused a lot on the church, because this was a time when the Anglo-Saxons were converting from paganism to Christianity.
Yeah.
And one of the stories he told was about a king who was considering, he'd been approached by a monk who was a missionary who was trying to convert them, and it was happening in other kingdoms. And so he was considering the words of the monk, and he and his pagan advisors heard what the monk had to say. And he then said, all right, thank you for telling us about your religion. Now scoot off and I'll discuss it with my advisors. So he got together with his counselors and said, well, guys, what do you think? And there were various opinions back and forth. Some were in favor, some were not. But one of them spoke up, and this is the story. So he said, basically, life is like this. We're all sitting around in the mead hall, and you need to understand that these mead halls were long structures with a fire pit in the middle to keep things warm in there, a stone fire pit. And of course, to get all that smoke out, you had windows at maybe a louver above, but also windows at both ends of the hall. So anyway, we're all sitting in the hall, and we're listening to the bard bring to life one of the old tales of our ancestors, and conjuring them images of them in our minds. And it's winter, and it's cold, and it's dark. It's nighttime, and outside the wind is blowing, and the hail is falling, and but we're inside, and we're warm here together, within the hall. But in the midst of this, a sparrow flies in one window and flies it through the hall, straight through, and then out the other window, back into the darkness whence it came. And he says, that's life. We're here for this brief moment together, trying to make sense of it all. But what comes before is darkness, and what comes after is darkness. And the best we can do is to try to, make meaning of it all here together while we're here in this brief moment. So the idea is, while darkness gathers, is we're here together in the light, making meaning of this. How do you respond to the darkness? That's the question. How do you respond to the darkness that threatens to swallow you, to overwhelm you, the great unknown that's out there? And you can respond in a variety of ways, which is something that I look at in the story. Is
also
how
through the trilogy of Dan as well.
Definitely something I do in the main trilogy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'll be right back real quick. I'm probably just gonna cut this part out. I just need to do something real quick.
Sure. Yeah. I'll hang out here. In fact, I need to go soon as well, so we can wrap it up maybe when you get back.
All right. Hello, I'm back.
All right. Cool.
All right. Well, you say you don't have too much more time, so I won't hold you hostage here, but I do want to ask, because I can't resist. So are we gonna get like a Silmarillion of the Edan world anytime soon?
I actually wrote, before I wrote the first book of the trilogy, I wrote an entire history of Jormungand and mythology, and a kind of just laid out the geography and the things that I do allude to in the trilogy, just in order to flesh out this world and make it feel inhabited before I actually wrote the story. A lot of that does not appear in the trilogy at all, but I have it somewhere in my head. So there is a. It's not. It's not. I wouldn't consider it publishable though. It's just more
I
like
know.
notes.
I'm being
Notes.
tongue in cheek here.
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm trying to work on next is going to be a prequel that takes
I've
place.
heard of this. Yeah.
Yep.
So like, what are you gonna do there? Or are you not allowed to talk about it too much yet?
I can't say too much about it yet, but I will say that it takes place 60 years or so before the Edan trilogy. And I will say that a certain character named Urd, who is in the trilogy, Daeravyn's great aunt.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So in the time of the trilogy, she's an older woman, but in the time of this prequel, she's going to be a little girl. So that is one thing I'm thinking about. But yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So you are far from done with the Edan world.
I hope I can write many more stories in this world. Yeah, I would like to do that. Yeah.
Very, very. So, what are you planning to do next aside from this this possible Urd prequel of Edan?
I haven't thought that far, but I think.
Or and even like reading and YouTube stuff. Or
oh yeah, well, in terms of my writing, while Darkness Gathers, I've set up a future series. I haven't talked about this with anyone yet, so breaking news.
Oh, I feel special, Philip.
Yep. I have set up what could be a series of books with these new characters that I've introduced as younger people, as younger characters in While Darkness Gathers. I have ideas about where I can take them as older characters in a new series. So that would probably follow this prequel that I'm writing right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yep.
Are there any like books you're planning on reading soon, or YouTube stuff you're planning on doing soon?
Yeah, I've always got books on the horizon for reading. I mean, right now I should be finishing in the next day or two the second book in Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, which is the Stone of Farewell, and I love Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. This is a reread for me, but it's been a long time, and I'm really enjoying my return to Austin Ard. So that's great. And I mentioned Sword of Kaigen. That I'll be reading very soon. I'm continuing my One Piece journey, which I'm loving, absolutely adoring. Audiobook wise, I am listening to book 8 of the Dresden Files right now. And so that's, what is it called? Proven Guilty. So that is, I'm continuing my audiobook adventures. I'm going to be, let's see if I can find that book. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be reading Ascendant pretty soon by Michael Miller. It's a Dragon Rider fantasy. I don't know a ton about it yet, but I know it's this Michael Miller is a very successful indie author. So I will see what that's all about. And yeah, I mean, and then more SPFBO stuff, and continuing in the Arthurian trilogy by Bernard Cornwell, the Warlord Chronicles. Looking forward to that. I've read the first one, The Winter King. So the next one is, I think it's called Enemy of God or something like that.
Yeah, my friend Zach actually finally got me to watch the live action One Piece, which I enjoyed.
Oh.
So
okay.
I might try to manga at some point, but again, it's really long.
Is that the storytelling dragon, Zach? That
yes.
Zach? Okay, yeah.
Cool. We're friends on John's Discord server, the Mint.
Oh, neat. Okay, yeah.
Because I'm a mod on there.
He's very active there too. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I've been busy too. So yeah.
Good. All right. Well, he will get the entire world into One Piece if he can. So.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I enjoyed it. So yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah.
But yeah, no. So it sounds like you've been productive.
I'm having fun.
You're not just sitting on your laurels, on like.
Well, such as they are, but yeah, I'm having fun.
Not going like Schmaug, with all your books. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, You got to keep going, I think, right? I mean, it's about being in the moment, not just thinking about, oh, I did that, now I can stop. I think you need something in front of you, right, to keep you going. So
yeah. You once said we're not good at contentment.
No, we suck at that. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, I don't want to hold you hostage here, but
Well, I appreciate you
Philip,
chatting with me. This
it
has
is
been a lot
always
of fun.
a joy talking with you. It really is.
Thank you. Yeah.
And hopefully I can get you back on here at some point because I
Sure.
have some other projects down the line I hope to involve you in. And also, while Darkness Gathers, I'll probably get you back for that and
all right,
talk about that whenever I get around to reading it. Gonna aim for 2026.
Sounds like a plan.
But but we'll see. But as I like to do before the end of these things, if you have any social media, feel free to to share.
Yeah, so I'm Philip Chase 9090 on let's see, X or Twitter, whichever you want to call it, and then Instagram and Blue Sky. So I'm Philip Chase 9090, and then of course this channel I have here is just Philip Chase, the best of fantasy, right? So yeah,
The Dr. Fantasy, as they say.
Dr. Fantasy, that's what they call me.
But yeah, Philip, no, seriously, thank you for coming on and hanging out with me again. Hope we can do it again at some point. Hopefully soon.
It's a pleasure and an honor. Thank you, Britton.
All right, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and until next time.